Since Spacies.
G'day invaders, welcome to Sin Spacies, and on today's video I want to talk about the Switch Pro or the Switch 2 or whatever they're gonna call it. They're gonna call it the new Switch. They're gonna give it some stupid name, something along those lines. We're obviously talking about the new upcoming Switch console. Now, there's a lot of rumors going around. There's always been a lot of rumors going around. That's why I never take anything serious when it says experts say or insiders say, because at the end of the day, how much have they ever gotten right in the past? So just don't believe anything you read. Take it, believe it when you see basically Nintendo announcing it. I personally don't feel like it's going to get released in 2024. I think it will get announced in 2024 and then get a release in 2025. But who knows? Because the system's still selling. The sales have slowed down, but it's still selling. Like, I still see people buying Switches. And the beauty of the Switch is that people often have more than one. It's a very personalized console. It's your machine. It's your console. It's not necessarily tied to a TV. It's a portable machine that you take with you, and they're your games. So you can have multiple profiles, but not many people share the Switch. They have their own. And that's the beauty of the Switch, that people can buy multiple Switches per household. We've got two in our house, and we would never usually buy more than one console. So yeah, that's something that works in the Switch's favor. But this video is not about all that. This video is what I want to see in the new Switch. We're just going to call it the Switch 2 for the sakes of giving it a name for the time being. Similar to when the Switch was simply known as the NX way back. And then overnight, everyone just stopped calling it NX when it formally became the Switch. So I have a little list. That's why I'm looking over to the side here. I've done some prepping for this one. So backward compatibility, that's number one. That's what I would like to see front and foremost with the new machine. As with every generation, people have a stack of games on their older machine, and they want to be able to have the benefits of a new console with their older games. And as the years go on, that kind of has a lot more importance than it once did way back. So with 12,395 games, according to my sources, currently available on Switch, that'd be really nice, wouldn't it? To have the ability to bring those over to the new machine, whatever it's going to be capable of. Also, it will help retain customers. There's a lot of people that will be like, well, if it doesn't run my Switch games, I'm not going to buy another Switch. I'm not buying the Switch 2. The end. So yeah, there's a lot of people out there, especially parents. I remember back in the NES Super Nintendo days, there was a lot of mums angry about the fact that the Super Nintendo could not play NES games. Mega Drive could play Master System, but that's another story. And then another feature that could be tied into the backward compatibility is that it could improve the ability of existing Switch 1 games. So, for example, Breath of the Wild, it chugs in some areas. There's a lot of townships where there's so much going on that you can see the frame rate drop. And I'm not the biggest graphics whore. I don't really care about having 60 frames per second, but you do notice it. And it's like, would be nice to see it get bumped up with a slightly higher spec machine. I suspect that the OLED actually was going to be a slightly bumped up Switch, but because of COVID, that got turfed. So anyway, I'm deviating away from my original point. That's point number one, backwards compatibility. That's the first thing I would like to see brought to the new machine. God, and I'm what, 4 minutes in? I thought I was not going to be able to make 10 minutes with this topic. Wow. Number two, the second thing I would like to see with the Switch 2, PlayStation 4 Pro minimum specs. I want this thing to be at least, not PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro style graphics. Because there's a lot of games that just really run like poo on the Switch. There's so many Switch defenders. We don't need fancy graphics. You do need fancy graphics to get the big name publishers to want to put stuff on your console. Look at what happened to Mortal Kombat, the last Mortal Kombat game that got released. It looks like a potato compared to the other two consoles. So you want something that can at least go a little bit more toe to toe with those other two consoles. And maybe they can, throw in a bit of AI computing there to help with the graphics. Doesn't have to be a solid workhorse of a machine. It can be artificially propped up with some fancy computing work to get the graphics up to scratch. So yeah, when my first point that I made on this was that the Switch specs were a little bit sketchy on release. They were a little bit already outdated by the time the Switch got released in 2017 because it was using technology from way back in 2014 or 15. So, it's already going behind schedule. And now it's 2024. That technology is coming up to 10 years old now. Also, which brings me to the next point. There's better mobile technology since 2017. We've improved in spades when it comes to mobile tech and mobile computing. So Nintendo must have something up their sleeve when it comes to a new mobile machine. It's got to be mobile, by the way. That was it doesn't even have to be said. It's got to retain that Switch capability. Dock, go. That's what makes the Switch such a high seller. And also retain more current lineup releases. So what I mean by that is that, for example, the Mortal Kombat game, there's a lot of games that probably may have got released on Xbox and on PlayStation, but it just was not looking like it was going to be possible on the Switch, so they just abandoned it. And Mortal Kombat was bordering on being abandoned on Switch, but they went with it anyway. Don't know why. So maybe you'll see that less of a factor in the Switch 2 if it has PlayStation 4 Pro minimum specs. So number three is I would like to see Street Pass. I want to see Street Pass come back. It was just such a fancy, cute little feature that was part of the 3DS. It improved community vibes. It really did make people want to meet up and swap games and swap Street Pass hits. It was cool. It gives social media something to talk about, so you could show how many hits you had in a day. And imagine, like, the 3DS was pretty successful, but could you imagine what the Street Pass scene would be like if the Switch had it? Man, that would be off the scale. Little known fact, I managed to get all of the prefectures, all the prefectures collected in Japan, or I think it's 50 or thereabouts. Anyway, there's a lot of prefectures in Japan, and I managed to get one pass from every one of them. So that was a little bit of an achievement. Also, it was just plain fun. What's wrong with fun? Bring back fun. Goodbye to Joy-Con. Number 4, get rid of the Joy-Cons. I despise the Joy-Cons. They sounded great when they first got announced. They were cute. They were like, wow, these actually look awesome. Detachable little things, and they can become that. No, it was terrible. We all know about Joy-Con drift. They could probably eliminate that with the new technology that they've got with the with joysticks now. But the Joy-Con, just as a concept, sounds good on paper, but just is terrible. No one uses the Joy-Con. They all ditch them at the first opportunity they get. I use my Pro controller, and I don't move away from that thing. I am always using that Pro controller. Any other controller that I've got is simply there as a backup if the battery on that one dies. That's it. Joy-Cons just not good controllers. So bye-bye Joy-Cons. That would be number 4. Bye-bye Joy-Cons. And my last thing that I would like to see with the Switch 2 is, I can't believe in 2024 we've got to ask for this. 2024. Yeah, I've got to remember what year we're in. Better online features. Like having to use a phone app to do voice chat and have that next to you while you're on your machine, on your console. That's just so dumb. Like, the Xbox 360 nailed this. Even Nintendo DS themselves. Nintendo DS had voice chat way back. I think it was Metroid, actually, Metroid Pinball. Anyway, it was an older game way back, had voice chat on the Nintendo DS. Why can't we do that now in 2024 with the Switch 2? It should have been in the Switch. For whatever reason, they wanted to make it as bare bones as possible. Well, they managed to do that. Good on them, but at the cost of removing vital features such as voice chat. Also, give us some inboxes so we can message each other, you know, like when you're playing. Okay, cool. We use Discord for that, but it would be cool to just have it in the Switch too. And also, just give us something on the lines of the Xbox 360 and the experience that we had with that, but with a little Nintendo touch to it. That'll be nice. That's my 5 features or things that I want from the Switch 2. What would your 5 be? I can imagine. I'll tell you one thing that's not going to be on the Switch 2. I saw someone when I was looking up some details about this. There's a lot of people calling for the camera to be introduced to the Switch 2. It ain't going to happen. Nintendo just do not want, nefarious, is that the word? Yeah, just sus pictures being sent back and forth. They want to distance themselves away from any of that. So I really highly doubt that they're going to introduce a camera to the Switch 2. They may surprise me, but I find that's a very low percentage call. I really don't think that that's going to happen. But I want to know, what's your 5, or even just your most wanted feature? Did you agree? Oh my god, I can't talk. I've had too many of these. Do you agree with my list, or do you think that I've got my priorities way out of whack? Let me know down below, and make sure you follow me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers over on YouTube, and I'm trying to get over to 20,000 over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And come over and check me out on Twitch. Trying to get to 1,000 followers over there. My name's been Brian. I've been gaming since Spacies. Bye.
Since Spacies.